Chair Froberg, whenever you're ready, you can call the meeting to order.
Okay, I guess it's 6 o'clock. So I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please mute your microphone and stand for the flag salute.
Unmute.
Am I supposed to read it?
You can just start it. I pledge allegiance to the
I
flag
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Chair Froberg,
Here.
Commissioner Edry,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez. We lost her.
I think we
She was
lost her. She
here.
was here earlier.
We'll come back to her.
Got confused when you said to log out.
Sorry, maybe she left.
I think she
Commissioner,
logged into the closed session Zoom.
maybe.
I just got a notification.
Oh, okay, I'll let her know. We're not doing closed session yet. Commissioner Navarez,
Here.
thank you. Commissioner Ibarra,
Here.
you have a quorum. Let's see if we can get Commissioner Lopez back. Sorry about that. Chair, you can continue if you'd like.
Okay, City Clerk, do we have any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
second Ibarra.
Okay, Bar second.
Motion by Commissioner Edry, seconded by Commissioner Ibarra to approve the agenda. Chair Froberg.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, hold on 1 minute. We're voting on the motion to approve the agenda. So aye or nay? Chair Froberg,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner Edry,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Navarez,
Aye.
Commissioner Ibarra, sorry.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we'll take public comments from members of the audience. If you'd like to provide a public comment through Zoom, please click the raise hand button.
For those attendees, if you'd like to comment, the raise hand button should be down at the bottom of your screen. Maybe just a couple seconds to click that.
So far, we have no hands raised.
Sure, I think we can proceed without public comment.
Okay, we'll now go to presentations.
Agenda item number 1 is the quarterly city housing report, and Public Works Director Wall will present the item.
Thank you. Dominic, if you could please share the presentation. And next slide, please. Good evening, honorable commission members. Today's quarterly report will provide an overview of rents paid, unit occupancy, and operations. Next slide, please. As of yesterday, March 8th, the rent owed for all units is $13,073.34. 6 of our tenants are behind with their rent. 4 of the 6 are late with only the March rent, and we anticipate that they'll be paying their rent in the next few days. 1 of the tenants is 2 months behind with their rent, and 1 is 7 months behind with the rent. The city has been compliant with the COVID-19 notice process informing tenants that are behind with their rent of the assistance programs that are available. The city has applied for the state's rental assistance program on behalf of tenants and will continue to do so when the state's application windows reopen. Next slide, please. We currently have 2 vacancies and we anticipate 2 upcoming additional vacancies. The 2 units that are currently vacant are ready to occupy, and a housing lottery will be announced soon. Next slide, please. In the quarter ending February, we received a total of 10 calls. 8 of these calls were for repairs, and those repairs were all addressed within 1 day of the call. Next slide. For operations, the vacancy of 3361 Fruitland was filled in December, and the vacant unit at 4324 Furlong was remodeled, and that remodeling was completed last month, and it is ready to occupy. There have been security concerns raised by the tenants in the Vernon units, and we are currently looking at, that's the located on Vernon Street. And we are currently looking into upgrading the fencing around these properties to make them more secure. As property managers, our goal is to inspect all city-owned housing units 2 times a year. Our last inspections were completed in November, and we're going to schedule our next safety inspections for April. Tenants will be notified of inspection dates and times. And then finally, we have received a 30-day notice from the tenant at 3357 Fruitland. They're leaving because they are purchasing a home. Next slide. In closing, Public Works follows the Housing Commission's procedures. We actively inspect and maintain city-owned housing, manage the cost of our housing program in a fiscally responsible manner, stay abreast of current issues impacting city-owned properties, and engage with tenants to inform them of actions and invite feedback. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, no questions? Okay, we'll go to the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion. Items may be removed from the consent calendar by any commissioners. Those items removed will be considered immediately after the consent calendar. Do any commissioners wish to pull the item from the consent calendar? Are there any public comments for the consent calendar? May I have a motion for consent calendar item number 2?
Move Lopez.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Navarez, I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Lopez, seconded by Commissioner Navarez to approve the consent calendar, which includes the minutes. Chair Froberg. Chair Froberg voting on the motion to approve the minutes.
I'm sorry, voting to approve the,
On the motion to approve the minutes,
motion to approve the minutes?
would you like to vote yes or no?
Yes.
Perfect. Commissioner Edry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Navarez,
Yes.
Commissioner Ibarra,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, we will now go to new business.
Item number 3 is Vernon Rental Housing Policy and Vernon Housing Commission Procedures, and Public Works Director Wall will present the report.
A little over 10 years ago, the Vernon Housing Commission approved a housing policy that was submitted to and approved by the City Council. In the years since, several procedures were adopted by the Housing Commission. The item before you updates the housing policy and housing commission procedures. Specifically, this item would approve a new housing policy to be submitted to the City Council for its approval. For the sake of clarity, the new housing policy eliminates Section 4 from the previous housing policy. Section 4 of the previous housing policy was instituted for the purpose of ensuring that tenants in city housing prior to October of 2011 could remain in city housing during changes in the city's housing governance that were taking place at that time. Additionally, minor non-substantive edits and formatting changes have been made to the policy. The item also makes changes to the Housing Commission procedures. In summary, these changes include a standardized introductory paragraph, correcting the spelling of the word lessee, and removing any reference to the VHC taking action, since city staff implements VHC policy. And more specifically, the name of the lease-up procedures for new tenants of city-owned units has been changed to new tenant lease procedures. Other changes to that procedure include making the application valid for the calendar year, clarifying the advertising and marketing process, clarifying the lottery process, removing the reference to first responders, and general clarification of language throughout. For the non-payment and or untimely payment of rent procedure, we added notification of legal action to the entire commission rather than just to the chair and vice chair. Similarly, for the impermissible subletting or assigning housing units procedure, we added notification of legal action to the entire commission rather than just the chair and vice chair. For the damage to housing units procedure, we updated inspections to be semi-annual rather than annual and removed specific reference to the procedure for noticing. For the disability priority procedures, we removed the annual recertification requirements. For the transitional hardship appeal procedures, staff recommends the elimination of this procedure. It was adopted in July 18, 2012 as a transitional procedure for those tenancies existing prior to the creation of the Housing Commission. For the unit-to-unit transfer procedures, this procedure has been merged into a comprehensive occupant relocation procedure. For occupant relocation procedures, comprehensive procedures for relocating whether the city or tenant initiated relocation, including unit-to-unit transfers, has been updated. For appliance procedures, we've updated to reflect revisions adopted by the commission in January of 2021 and suggested changing the word stove to range. In addition, the interest form and transfer form were updated to reflect current practice and provided for the commission's reference. This concludes my report.
Are there any technical questions for staff?
I do have a question. Dan, in regards to tenants having to relocate because it's initiated by the city. So if it's initiated by the city and they're currently paying a certain rent, they're going to have to pay the new rent on that unit. Is that what that means? Even if it was not initiated by the tenant?
No, if the relocation is initiated by the city for the city's convenience, so say that's to remodel a unit or what have you, and they're moved to a second unit, that is their rent will remain the same.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Hi, Dan. I have a question. Under the co-signer, it talks about executing a personal guarantee. But on page 505 of the new tenant lease, it's like all that was eliminated. So what's going to take place?
Let me turn to the procedure and.
Sorry, which procedure are you on?
It's the new tenant lease procedures. It's page 3 of 5, it says.
Oh, the personal guarantee you're referring to on page 505?
Correct. It says the co-signer shall execute a personal guarantee. And then on page 505, it was eliminated. So what's going to replace the personal guarantee?
It will be attached to the lease rather than the procedure.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and the language there does read that. It says shall execute a personal guarantee in conjunction with the lease.
So it'll be like an addendum, is that one?
Yes, so it's as if the cosigner is a signatory to the lease. So to speak, it binds it into the same agreement. But as a cosigner rather than an occupant.
And is there a standard lease termination where if you're gonna let somebody go where it's 30, 60, 90 days?
Oh, a notice to end
Yes.
their tenancy?
Yes.
Yes, we do have that. So it would be typically it's for cause that we would do that. And Zaina could speak better to what the termination would require.
I believe under the lease, it's a 60-day notice requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Just another question. So based on what I'm looking at here, like the redlining that was completed, like basically it seems like it's very minimal, maybe just like wording kind of changes. Is that correct? Like it doesn't seem like there's anything that really changed dramatically.
Right, it's spelling upgrades, it's changing the word policy to procedure in some instances. It's that kind of thing. There's not a lot of substance, but we believe that it provides more clarity as to what the intent is. And there is a change on there is a change, and it's not a substantive change, but it's a change from how we've done things, where somebody puts in their interest form. The interest forms previously expired in March, which made it very cumbersome for us to keep the list fresh. And so now they expire at the calendar year, which is traditionally when people would think that the list would expire.
Any other questions for staff? Are there any public comments?
There are none on Zoom.
May I have a motion to approve these new business public works?
Commissioner Navarez, I move.
I'll second. Lopez.
Motion by Commissioner Navarez, seconded by Commissioner Lopez to adopt resolution number VHC 9, approving a Vernon rental housing policy and submitting said policy to the City Council for adoption, and repealing resolution number VHC-5, adopting revised commission procedures as indicated on this recommendation, and repealing transitional hardship appeal and unit-to-unit transfer process. I'll call the roll to vote on this motion. Chair Froberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Edry,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Navarez,
Aye.
Commissioner Ibarra.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now we will go to oral reports. Are there any reports from the commissioners or staff?
None
No
from-
reports. Okay, we will now go to closed session for agenda item number 4. Commissioners, please.
Chair
I'm sorry.
Froberg, I'm gonna help you out with this section because it changed a little bit. So at this time, the commissioners should leave this meeting and then join the closed session meeting. Once closed session is over, you'll leave the closed session meeting and come back to this meeting. Chair Froberg, I think we've got your computer handled for you. So don't do
Okay.
Okay.
And does everybody else have the link to the closed session?
Commissioners, yeah, okay.
I'll go ahead and pause the recording and we'll take care of that. You may begin.
Okay, we are back from closed session at 6:43 p.m.
Zaina, if you have a report?
Chair Froberg recused himself during closed session, but the commission took no reportable action.
Thank you. Chair, I believe it's appropriate to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
No need for a motion. You can just adjourn it at 6:44 PM.
Okay, without any further business, I adjourn this meeting at 6:44 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.